Okay. I've never ever done any research on this girl, Rebecca Morency, that I used to work with until today. So it's June 6th, 6/6. And I haven't typed her name in yet, but what did I type in? I searched obituaries for Morency for 2025, and I found this. So this is her sister, who was 34, passed away on 12/21. That was exactly 2 years after I quit my job. No, wait, 3 years. Quit my job on 12/21 or 12/22 of 2022. So this says firefighter. This is about as far as I read before I hit record because this was interesting. This connects some dots. Her sister worked at Domino's and still does. Now she works at Domino's corporate. And the Lord is telling me that she's basically a prisoner because she's in too deep. Like, the guy that she married, I think, has money. I think he's the one that got her this job. She has two kids, 2 and 5. So I'm assuming one is from the old guy. The old guy, that sounds dumb. The guy that she used to be with, prior. And this is why the Lord has her in judgment right now, because the Lord has certain rules, and He's not a respecter of persons. So He doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care how good your heart is. He's not looking at any of that. He's looking at the rules. That's what God not being a respecter of persons means. He does not care. You either follow the rule and you're on His side, or you don't, and you're on the other side of the line. So there's like a line, right? It's like a line in the sand. You're not allowed to stand on it. If you stand on it, you've made your choice. You've crossed the line. So I thought this was interesting because she met her husband at Domino's, and I'm pretty sure Rebecca met her husband through Domino's. So this occult stuff it's all one big happy family. It's all one big happy family. This is why it's so hard for them to get out of it. It's like when you get deep into a fraternity, secret society, and you have to make that next step, and that next step is oaths of secrecy, and they make you say out loud that you'll never leave, and if you do, this will happen to you because you know too much. There's certain people in this world that the system just does not allow to be here because they know too much. John McCaffrey was a good example of one of those men. But there's been hundreds, and he's just like, I don't know why, but the first one that came to mind right now. So, what are we learning here? Drake Morency, her brother, I knew that because he sent me some messages on YouTube. And Ypsilanti. Not a lot of humble people in Ypsilanti. I'm just going to be honest about that. A lot of people in Ypsilanti compare themselves to others. husband Daniel and their 2 children, Austin and Mira. The mirror. The mirror. I watch this girl like every day, and she says mirror in almost every episode, but she can't say mirror. She says mirror. The mirror. So that's interesting. Survived by mother, siblings. Amanda, Ken, Drake, Rebecca. Okay, now I know her middle name. I always thought it was going to be Dawn because I had a dream that I named Red Dawn, and Rebecca Dawn sounded right. So Sparrow, I had no idea what her last name was. Rebecca Sparrow. Rebecca Alex Sparrow. RAS. Of Clinton. So wait a minute. Oh, it's her new name. Sparrow's her new name. Wait a minute. Get the fuck out of here. I knew it, dude. My spirit knew it. Sam is survived by her husband Daniel. Alright, so now not only is Becca living with this guy that may or may not have convinced her to get into the witchcraft stuff. There's no telling how long she's been into doing that. And everyone that gets deceived into doing evil, they don't freaking think they're doing evil. Most of them don't. You know, you lose faith in God, you start to think nothing's real, nothing matters, and then somebody comes along and says, "Hey, have you ever heard of this?" And you're like, "No, I haven't. What the fuck is it?" And they tell you, and you're like interested, and you're like, and it actually works, huh? And they're like, I mean, this is the fruit, bro. This is the tree of knowledge. If you didn't know, I mean, there's times I act like I don't know too when people when I'm on the spot trying to explain it. This is like I don't know, but I know exactly, and we know exactly what the forbidden fruit is, and it's not one of the unrepentant sins. Can you kill somebody and be forgiven? Yeah. Can you steal your whole life and be forgiven? Yeah. Can you be a piece of your whole life and be forgiven? Yeah. So what needs to happen is these people need to come out of darkness. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to expose darkness so that they know that they're in it, so that they can come out. So this is tough. This girl is living with a guy, and this guy is the brother of her sister's husband. And they had 2 children, 11 and 7. I remember a comment I made after this happened and Rebecca was back to work. I said something like, what's going on right now in the world. It certainly feels like I don't know. I can't remember what I said. I said everything that's happening right now is God's judgment. I don't think I elaborated on it. I think that's all I said. And she looked at me like she just saw a ghost, just for a second before she could reel it in. And I saw it. And then something happened months and months before that that I never even thought about until like a month or two ago. Is when I asked him. I said she was there and Robert was there, both working in the kitchen area, doing something, making food, taking stuff out of the oven. And I said I was standing by the heat rack and I doing nothing because I was a delivery driver. Like we don't do shit. We just stand around until pizzas are done. Great job if you need a job and you like to drive around. But I said, uh, hey, did you guys know that? I don't even know why the hell I said this, but obviously the spirit knew. The God knew. That's why I said it. I had no idea why I said it, but I was like, hey, I was like, did you guys ever hear the expression that all Satanists are Freemasons, but not all Freemasons are Satanists? And they both gave me this look, kind of like I didn't catch it at the time. I see it now looking back at it. I see, but it was like a what the fuck do you know look. It was a total like holy shit, I'm caught. I have to gather myself moment look, and neither of them responded. They both just kind of swallowed. It was like, no. They didn't even say no. Like they froze up. It was weird. I didn't know. I mean, see, this is the thing about the spirit, dude. And this is what praying in the spirit is. When you're praying in the spirit, you're not really aware of it. And when the spirit is prompting you to do stuff like that because God knows that He's going to use it for His good, like you don't usually know. Stuff just happens, and then you'll look back at it and say, "Oh yeah." And then people will say stuff too that'll go right over your head. But when you think back on it later, the Spirit will bring it to your attention, and you're like, "Whoa! Now I know what he meant by that, or she meant by that." We're not getting too much research done here, but oh wow, there's all kinds of people. There's all kind of beans here to pick up. Big Happy Domino's family. She needs to get away from this third party energy. Get away from all these wicked people. Get away from anyone who's not repenting and accepting Jesus to be their leader, which means follow him. People talk a good game, do people's mouths work real good, but you know what doesn't work is their feet, their hands. That shit is broken, dude. Their mouths are like masterpieces, works of art, PhDs, been working on them for so long. They're just glorious, masterful. It's all fake, but you'd never know. People talk such a good game. People are good with those words. I thought I killed that fly. I did kill that fly. That's another fly, the biggest fly I've ever seen in my life. How is this possible? How is this possible? I don't feel being with him right now. Alright, so I had a dream that this was about Rebecca. I walked to a house. It was my old house. It was a house I didn't live in, but I lived in for like 20 years. And when I got there, I knew it wasn't my house. But I knew I was going there to stay, to it's like seek refuge or to find somewhere to sleep. So I went, snuck into the garage, and there was a Howard Hanna sign on the side of the yard, like where there shouldn't be, like nobody would ever see it in that. Like that's where we let the dogs out of the garage to go to the bathroom. Like you wouldn't put a for sale sign there, but there was a for sale sign there. Howard Hanna, H is the eighth letter of the alphabet. So Howard Hanna, HH 88. I didn't realize that until recent, until months ago. But when I had the dream, I saw the sign. I went in the garage. There was an RV in the garage. I went in there and tried to like lay down on one of the seats and sleep. And there was this fly that kept pestering me, bugging me, making noise. And I felt like the noise he was making was going to alert the homeowner. So I got out of the RV and I was messing around in the other part of the garage, a little farther away from the door. And then the guy came out. The homeowner came out and confronted me. And I was hiding behind a door. There was a full door, but when he got to the door turned into a half a door, like a barn door, like a salon door. And yeah, I'm standing there, and he turns and looks right at me. When he did, I said, "Oh, shit, you caught me." That's exactly what I said. And he said, "Follow me." And I said, "Okay." And I started. Oh, and two, he turned from a small white guy when he came out of the garage, and first when I first saw him, and then he morphed from like that to like a bigger, more fit, more athletic black guy. So in the dream, now I know exactly what this means. That guy is symbolic of me. I was the homeowner. The person in the garage trying to sleep in the RV with the dirty flies was Rebecca. So that's super, super obvious now. Super obvious. And in the dream, I caught her hiding behind a door, which was a half, so like it's symbolic of she thought I couldn't see her, but I could see everything she's doing because God shows me. The Most High, God of the heavens and the universe, shows me. The Most High God of all gods, the God above all gods, showed me. The God that allows this magic and this evil to go on because this is what free will is about. So people want to get mad, oh, God's mean, God's evil. There's no evil in God, there's no darkness in God at all. But He allows men and women to make their own choices. And until you turn to Him, you're going to deal with the consequences. So, good video. No more study. I've seen enough. Love you guys.